Hello and welcome back. In this video, we are going to discuss about what is classes and object in Java. So basically, we'll see what is class, what is an object, how to create an object, and we will see that with practical implementation also. Now, first, let us see what is class in Java. Right? So a class is uh, a blueprint to create an object. So the class tells how the object will look like. A class is a template that decide how the object will look like when we create an object. So a class is something that decides how our object will look like. A class consists of fields, constructor, and methods. So in a class, we can have different variables, instance variables, or we can say fields, class fields. Then we can have a constructor. So the constructor is something that is always called when we create an object. Then we have methods. So these methods can be accessible using that object if that are non-static methods. Then the file name and class name should always be same. So in Java, if you create a class, the file name uh, like employee.java is similar to the class name. So class name would be also employee only. The fields in class are known as instance variables or class variables. So the fields that are declared inside the class and outside the constructors and methods are known as instance variable or class variables. Let us see an example of class, how we can create a class. So here we have created an employee class. The file name is employee.java. So you can see here the name that we have given here is similar to the class name. So always the file name and class name will be same. This is the point that we have discussed previously. Then we have a private string name. Now each and every employee has a unique name. So we have given a field here name, that is employee's name. So this name is given outside all these constructors and methods. So this is an instance variable, or we can say class variable. Now here private means this name is only accessible in this class. So that means between this curly brackets from here to closing class curly brackets. So this private field can be used inside this class only. Now this is an instance variable, right? After that we have public, employee, string, and name. Now this is a special method. We can say this one is a special method because this is known as constructor. Now constructor has the same name as our class name, and it does not have an return type. This is similar to method, but we don't have here any return type. So a method that does not have a return type and same name as the class is known as constructor. Now constructor is always called when we create an object, and this is used to initialize the variables of initialize the instance variables. So here we need to give some value while we create an object. We need to give the value of name while we create the object, right? So this can be done using constructor. Here you can see that we passed a string name. Now this name will be given to this variable. So this dot name means this in the sense the current object dot name. Name is this instance variable. So for that current object, the name value will be whatever you passed here. It is similar to the method only, but we don't have here return type. So this is what constructor is. And third thing we have in class is method. Now method is similar to the functions in C, but we this is extra public in the sense we can use it from anywhere. This all are public and private are access modifier that we'll cover in upcoming videos. String is what this method will return, and get name is the method name. So we don't have any parameters passed. So what this get method simply does is that, sorry, get name does return the name of the current object. So it will return the employee name of the current object. So this is how we can create a class. This is an instance variable, constructor, and methods. You can create multiple constructor, multiple methods, multiple instance variables in a class. Now let us see what is object in Java. So an object is an instance of class. It represents an entity such as person, employee, bank account, or a car, etc. So object is nothing but an instance of class, and it is something that represents the entity. Like we have discussed about the employee class. So we can create multiple uh, employee objects using different employee names. So in a company we can have multiple employees, and all that employees have different names. So we can create multiple objects of employee using that employee class. Each object has its own state independent from other object. That means if we create an employee object naming Ramesh and another employee object naming Suresh, both the objects are independent from each other because they have their own state. One object has its own state by having the name Ramesh, and the other has the name Suresh. So both are the independent object. Whenever we create an object, the constructor of the class is called. As we have discussed that whenever you create an object, the constructor of that class is called. If you don't create a constructor, the Java will by default uh, uh, give a default constructor, that is no arg parameters. An object is created using new keyword. So here is an example. We are creating an object of vehicle. So first you need to give the class name, the object that you want to create. So here we have given vehicle. Then whatever the name of object you want to give. So I have given vehicle but small v, and equal to this new keyword is used to create an object. And here again we will give the class name, and in the circular brackets we can pass any parameters. Like in employee we need to pass the string. So this is what we'll call the constructor. So whatever the constructor you want to call, you can give parameters here. It is similar to the method. If you have no arguments, then you can leave it empty. If you have some arguments, you need to pass here the arguments. So in the case of employee, we need to pass the name here in double inverted commas. But in vehicle, we don't have any parameterized constructor. So this is what a default constructor looks like. So if you don't create any constructor, it Java will provide a default constructor, that is no arg constructor. So we don't need to pass any arguments. This is the syntax of how we create an object in Java. So this is the syntax. We need to create an object using the new keyword, and the whatever the constructor we are calling, we need to write this sentence according to that. So this is how we create an object and what is an object in Java. We will understand this more in the practical. So let us now see the practical implementation of this. Now let us see the practical implementation of how to create class. So I have this project Java tutorials. In that I add all the programs that we see in the videos. So I will upload this project on my GitHub profile, so you can refer it from there. Now let us create a class. So to create a class, you need this. This all are packages. com.java, this data type first tab. All these are packages. So if you don't have package, you can right click on this here Java and create a class. So from here only we let us create a class. So right click, new, and create a class. Now here you just need to give the name of the class. Here we have interface, record, enum, and directly you can create this from here. So we want to create a class, and we will create a same class that we have seen in the theory part, that is of employee. So let us write employee, and you can see here the class is created here outside all the packages, because you have right click from here Java, and then you have created class. So it will be created inside this folder but outside all these packages. Now this is how a class, empty class looks like. In that we have public in the sense you can access this class from anywhere. In the sense this class can be accessible in all these packages and all the programs written in this. So this is what public is. Then the class keyword to define that this is a class, and the class name. Now you can see the class name and the we can say the name of the file employee.java is same. As we have discussed, the class name and employee name should be same. Now let us move further and create a string variable name. So each and every employee has an their own name. So we need to create a name so that whenever we create an object of this class, we can give that name. So let us write private, okay, string and name, or you can write emp employee underscore name and semicolon. Now private in the sense, as we can say, public can be accessible anywhere. Private can be this variable employee underscore name is only accessible inside this class, inside this curly brackets. You can see this highlighted curly bracket. In this only we can use this employee name. Now we have this is an instance variable. Now instance or class variables are that we declare outside all the methods and constructors. So you can see this is declared outside all the methods and constructors. So it is an instance variable, and this defines the state of an object. Like whenever you create the employee object, we need to give an employee name. So that is what the state. One of the employee has the name Ramesh, one of the employee has the name Suresh. So it's each object has its own state. Now this is an instance variable, or we can say class variable. Now in order to give value to this, we need to have a constructor. So constructor is basically, let us first write what how constructor public employee. This is a simple constructor. Now first let us see how the constructor we can write the constructor. So in constructor is similar as the functions in C, but we don't have any return type. Now you can say public, as we have discussed, this can be accessible from anywhere, and there is no return type. There is directly the name. So this name also will be same as the name of the class. So the name of the constructor will be same as the name of the class. So this is important. Here if I write E, it will prompt me an error. You can see I got an error here. So the name should be same, case sensitive. even the caps, if you write the caps letter in small, it will give you an error. Now this is a default constructor, we can say. Default constructor looks like this only, without any arguments, without anything, right? If you don't create this constructor, Java will create a default constructor for your class. Now we want to give value to this, so we need to pass something here to get the value. So let us say string, because this instance variable, in this instance variable we want string, so string and name, right? So whenever the object is created, the this name is passed in the constructor, and we will initialize that with this employee name. Now here we'll write this dot employee name equal to name. So simply what we have done, this in the sense the current object in the sense the object from which we have called, and employee name in the sense the object's employee name variable should have this name. So the name that we have passed in the constructor. So we'll assign that name to employee name. Now we have done with constructor, we have done with instance variable. Okay. This is a simply constructor, right? Constructor. Now one more thing we have in class is methods. We have instance variable, we have constructor, and we have methods. Now I have created this instance variable, but this is private, so it is accessible in this class only. Now if I want to access this name, I want to get this name outside this class, then I need to provide some functionality, right? So I will give that using a method. Let us create a public, that means we can access from anywhere. First let us write void in the sense nothing we will return, and then name of the method, get name, right? Now in this get name, we don't pass anything because we want to get the name of the employee, so we are not passing anything. Now I will return this value, right? So to return something, I need to change this return type. Now what I am returning, the employee name, so the return type would be string. So let us copy that and we'll write that here. So we have changed the return type from void to string. First you need to write the void, and then as you write the logic of this method, you will understand what I want to return. So after that you can change this return type. Now here you just need to give return employee name. So what will happen, whenever this object will whenever this method is called, it will return the employee name, and we'll get this employee name where we want, wherever we have called from. Okay, so this is a simple method. So we have declared all the three things. First one is an instance variable, second one is a constructor, and third one is a method, right? So you can see instance variable is always outside all of these methods and constructors. Now let us create another class to create an object of this and call this method. Okay, so basically we'll see how an object is created. So let us create an class, give that a name main, ma. Okay, now we got this main class here, right? Now as we know, the Java execution starts from the main method. So first we need to write the main method. This is the syntax of main method: public, static, void main, and string r. These are the arguments that we pass, command line arguments, right? So the Java program execution starts from here. First, to create an object of this employee, we need to write first employee, the class name, right? Then we need to give the name of that object. let us just give employee. Okay, equal to, now when you uh, add this new keyword, at that time we are creating new keyword, signals that we are creating a object, right? New is the keyword using which you create the object, and here we will write employee, right? And you can see this is how an object is created. First of all, first we need to write the class name, so whatever the class type is of employee, and then we need to give variable name, then equal to new keyword. New keyword is used to create an object, right? And then again the employee and brackets. Now you can see I am getting an error here. And why so? Because we have a constructor declared. Now this is what calls the constructor. Now in the constructor you can see we have something like name. We need to pass this name as we pass something when we call a method. So strings are always written in double quote, as you have that you can see from my previous video of data types. So in double quotes you can write the name of the employee. Now the name of the first employee is Ramesh, right? So you can see the error is gone, and you can see here the suggestion of this IntelliJ. This is the name, and what that name means, the variable that we have declared in the parameters of constructor. So we need to pass that here. Now what will happen that it will give this pass Ramesh name to the that object. That means in this employee we will the employee name will be Ramesh. Okay, now let us confirm that, because I am not sure that whether this name is given to this object or not. So for that we have created a method to get name. So simply if the method is public, we can access it from here. Okay, so simply how can we call that method in the Java? So in Java you need to write the object name. So here our object name is employee. So employee, now dot. When you do dot, you can see what are the methods we can access using this object. So first one is the get name that we have created. You can even use equals, you can even use hash code. These are all the object function. But we need to, at this moment we need to just use this get name. So you can click on this, or you can write by yourself, and you need to give semicolon. Okay, so this get name will return something string, right? So that string either we need to store somewhere, or we can directly print. So let us directly print that. So to print we need to write this system dot out dot println. Now we'll take this, we'll copy this or cut this, and we'll write this inside the s out, and we'll remove this extra semicolon. So what will happen that whatever the value is written here, it will directly be printed using system.out.println. Okay, so save this program, and from here you can run this program. Run main.main. It will take some time for the first time whenever you are executing. So you can see we got this name Ramesh using this println statement. So whatever the value you have assigned to this employee object, we got this here using this get name. So this program is working properly, and the name that we have passed here is assigned to this object. Now we need to even discuss one more thing, that if you create one more object of employee, so if we want to create the object of employee, we just need to give the class name employee, then the variable name employee1. Okay, because this is employee, and then employee1 equal to new keyword is used to create a new object, and then again the employee. Here we will pass whatever we have given in the constructor. So we have name, you can say. Here we will give Suresh. So this this Suresh value will be assigned to the employee one, and Ramesh value will be assigned to the employee. So both this object are independent from each other, and they has their each object have their own state. That means this object will consist Ramesh value, employee name, and this object will consist Suresh, and the state will be defined based on the values of instance variable. Okay, now let us print. So system.out.println. In this IntelliJ we have a shortcut s out. If you write, we'll get that statement. So using that we can print. Now I want to get name. So what we need to do, we need to write object variable name. So what is the object name here? Employee1. So employee1 dot get name. So what will be printed here? Let us see. Let us run the program and see. So save this and run using, from here you can run. So run main method, and you can see first first object, this first println statement gave us the Ramesh value, and second println statement that we have called using this object name gave us Suresh. That means the value that we assign to these objects are working properly. And one more thing, in this, whenever you create an object, every time the constructor of this class, you can see the constructor of this class will be called. So whenever you create a new object, the constructor of that class will be called each and every time. You can see if you pass Suresh here, at the time this constructor is called and the value is assigned. So remember that whenever you create an object, whether you have created an constructor in that class or not, the constructor will be called, and if you have not created this constructor, then default constructor will be called, as we have discussed. So that is what that is how we declare the class and create the objects.